The spotlight that once held Hollywood breathless shone on Dorothy Dandridge, the first black actress ever nominated for an Oscar. Her smile captivated the world, but behind the curtain, she wept silently. Racism crushed her dreams, depression chained her soul, and in a cold West Hollywood apartment, all that remained was a green scarf, an empty pill bottle, and a scrap of paper, "Cremate me immediately." Dorothy died at 42, alone, just as her star seemed ready to rise again. Accident suicide. Or did someone want that star dimmed forever? A friend once recalled her whispering, "I just want to be free." But freedom was something Hollywood never granted her. Today, we're diving into the dark side of Dorothy Dandridge, her scarred childhood, her broken loves, and the mystery of her lonely death. Who pushed her into the shadows and why, when the light seemed to return? Did she vanish without a word? Chapter 1. A childhood under family and societal pressure. At 16, Dorothy Dandridge stood before a mirror, pale-faced, as Geneva Williams, her mother's companion, inspected her virginity. "It was like a violation," she whispered, her voice trembling, as if that memory would haunt her forever. But the darkness had crept in earlier, when she was just 4, standing on a church stage, her tiny hands ice-cold, trembling as if holding a secret no one could know. That was Dorothy, born in 1922 in a poor black neighborhood in Cleveland, Ohio. Her mother, Ruby, an ambitious performer, left her husband before Dorothy was born, leaving her daughter never knowing her father's face. Ruby, chasing her own stardom, pushed Dorothy and her sister Vivian onto the stage, calling them the Wonder Children. But the spotlight brought no joy, only fear and bruises from Geneva. In the South, white audiences clapped as Dorothy sang, but their eyes were cold, reminding her she didn't belong. Racism shadowed her, a constant presence she couldn't escape. By 8, when she reached Hollywood, Dorothy had never read a book. She memorized lines like incantations without understanding their meaning, repeating them softly as if afraid someone might hear. Each time she stepped on stage, she glanced at her trembling hands, as if they held an unspeakable secret. In an old diary, her childish scrawl read, "I have to memorize to survive." But it wasn't ghosts that haunted her, it was living memories of beatings and Geneva's icy whispers. Family secrets deepened her loneliness. Ruby and Geneva's lesbian relationship was taboo, an invisible wall between Dorothy and her own home. She felt like an outsider, a puppet in her mother's dream. Each blow, each judgment for her skin color, made her wonder, did she belong anywhere depression took root, like a seed in the dark, waiting to sprout. How could a child who couldn't read, raised in a silent, shadowed home, dream of becoming a silver screen icon? And more importantly, who planted that dream in her head? And how did a talented little girl overcome those early scars to dream of Hollywood? Chapter 2. Success becomes a burden. When the Cotton Club's lights hit her face, Dorothy smiled. But beneath the rouge was a bruise no one saw it. She'd learned young to hide pain, standing center stage, her voice sweet as a southern breeze. At 20, she was the heart of the Dandridge sisters, enchanting audiences from Harlem to Hollywood. In 1935, with her sister Vivian and friend Etta Jones, she performed at the Cotton Club, their music a whisper of hope. By 1941, Hollywood noticed her in Sun Valley Serenade, her feet gliding like clouds, her smile melting even the coldest hearts. But her peak came in 1954 as Carmen Jones. Hollywood handed her an Oscar nomination, the first for a black actress. Life magazine splashed her on the cover, dubbing her the Café au Lait goddess. She graced the Waldorf Astoria's stage, a venue never before opened to a black artist, and signed with 20th Century Fox for $75,000 per film. Dorothy was a star, but her light was fragile as morning mist, ready to vanish in the sun. Hollywood's unspoken rules always lurked. They gave her an Oscar nod, then refused to shake her hand in the hallway. The press praised her, then slammed her for dancing with Anthony Quinn at Actors Lab in 1948, calling it shocking. A friend recalled Dorothy standing still in the makeup room, clutching a comb, reading that article in Las Vegas. The last frontier drained its pool to keep her from swimming, even after she'd set their stage ablaze with her voice. After the spotlight, she slipped out back doors, rode freight elevators, her heart heavy as if carrying the world. A Carmen Jones crew member said the director hurled racial slurs at her, leaving her trembling, eyes wet, yet forcing a smile. "I don't belong anywhere," she whispered to her only true friend, Geraldine Branton. Depression crept in, a shadow crawling across the stage lights, clinging to her. In a small notebook, a line was scratched out in red ink. "Don't let them see you cry." Who wrote it? Her mother, Geneva, or Dorothy herself in A Sleepless Night. Those words were a curse, forcing her to hide her pain. Racism didn't just steal opportunities, it eroded her self-worth. She stood on stage, radiant. But when the lights dimmed, the darkness swallowed her, and this time, it wouldn't let go. A colleague recalled her staring out a backstage window, whispering, "They love me on stage, but in real life, I'm just a shadow." Some roles she played too deeply, unable to break free, or rather, not allowed to. How many lights would it take to banish the feeling of being erased, and if even the stage turned cold? Where did Dorothy belong? How many lights would it take to banish the feeling of being erased, and if even the stage turned cold? Where did Dorothy belong? Chapter 3. Broken Love, Duties, Crushing Dorothy. Dorothy believed love could save her, but when she gave birth, she was alone. Harold was off playing golf and Harolyn was born, never learning to speak. In 1942, Dorothy married Harold Nicholas, the dazzling dancer of the Nicholas brothers, hoping to build a home amid Hollywood's glare. But Harold cheated, abandoning her in her loneliest days. When Harolyn arrived in 1943, brain damaged and unable to recognize her mother, a friend recalled Dorothy on a sofa, repeating, "I've failed her." She held Harolyn, singing lullabies, but the girl's blank eyes cut like a knife. Self-blame clung to her, a cold shadow in an empty room. Depression seeped in, like black ink staining her soul, blotting out light. She sought light in a romance with director Otto Preminger during Carmen Jones, but that light turned to thorns. No one knows what happened behind the scenes. After the final shoot, Dorothy never wore red dresses again or spoke Otto's name. In 1955, a painful secret emerged. Otto forced her to abort, fearing an interracial scandal would ruin them both. A friend said Dorothy stood frozen in the dressing room, stroking the beige dress Otto made her wear, as if she were no longer herself. Her romance with Peter Lawford crumbled too, society rejecting a white man and a black woman together, in a locked drawer. Geraldine Branton found a folded note, the ink smudged with tears. "I'm not worthy of love. They only love the light, not me." That note was a shard of her heart, revealing unspoken pain. Dorothy turned to liquor and sedatives to soothe her scars. She'd collapse, pills scattered, but always called it an accident. A friend recalled a night she sobbed in Marilyn Monroe's arms, whispering, "I gave everything, but no one stayed." She stared in mirrors, seeing a stranger a star no one truly needed, once. She dropped a silver ring, a gift from Harold, and left it on the floor, as if letting go of everything. Depression wrapped her in fog, obscuring every exit. Did those she loved most push her into the dark, and if love was a stage, who was directing from behind the curtain? Did those she loved most push her into the dark, and if love was a stage, who was directing from behind the curtain? Chapter 4. When friendship became a seed of tragedy. On Hilldale Avenue's white carpet, two young women shared dreams. One would become an icon, the other a forgotten warning. Dorothy Dandridge and Marilyn Monroe met at Actors Lab in 1947, becoming close friends, talking under dim apartment lights about Hollywood, love, and hidden scars. Marilyn, with her golden hair and radiant smile, supported Dorothy without hesitation, cheering at her shows from the crowd. "Dorothy's a true friend," Marilyn once told someone, her voice warm, but racism stood like an invisible wall between them. Hollywood embraced Marilyn, giving her glamorous leads while Dorothy was typecast in sultry roles, criticized by the black community for selling out. Dorothy felt dim beside Marilyn, I'm not bright enough not because of talent, but because my skin doesn't reflect Hollywood's light, she told a friend bitterly, her eyes sad. A surviving black and white photo from Actors Lab shows them together, but half the image is torn. No one knows who cut it or why. Racism didn't just steal Dorothy's opportunities, it gnawed at her self-esteem. She drank more, her sedative bottle always close. A friend said she once stared at Marilyn's magazine cover, whispering, "She's free. But I'm chained." Depression enveloped her, a thick fog dimming their friendship's light. She looked in mirrors, seeing only a stranger, a star no one truly needed. On that white carpet, they once shared dreams, but when the spotlight hit Marilyn, Dorothy's shadow vanished. Perhaps their friendship was a mirror reflecting a loneliness no one dared name. On that white carpet, they once shared dreams, but when the spotlight hit Marilyn, Dorothy's shadow vanished. Perhaps their friendship was a mirror reflecting a loneliness no one dared name. Chapter 5. Total Collapse. Depression and Isolation. Outside her apartment, a for sale sign swayed in the wind. Inside, Dorothy stood alone. The house was sold. So was her self-respect. By 1963, Carmen Jones's glow had faded, leaving her in an empty room where dreams once hung on the walls. Now just faint memories. She lost everything. $150,000 swindled. $139,000 in tax debt weighing like a boulder. But her greatest pain was Harolyn, her disabled daughter who never called her mama. Dorothy kissed Harolyn's forehead but didn't look back. If she had, she couldn't have walked away, leaving her at Camarillo State Hospital. "I failed her," she repeated, her voice breaking like glass. Depression coiled around her, a shadow creeping from cold corners. Her marriage to Jack Dennison, from 1959 to 1962, was the final blow to her spirit. Friends said Dorothy's eyes changed when Jack entered a room, a reflex of someone used to enduring. He exploited her, forcing her to perform to save his failing nightclub. One night, she called a friend, sobbing, "I have no one left." She lived alone in a rented apartment, liquor bottles and tofranil pills scattered on the table. A friend recalled her staring for hours into a cracked mirror, searching for herself. "I'm like a haunted house," she wrote on a crumpled note, her handwriting shaky. Alcohol and sedatives became her companions, leading to collapses she called accidents. She tried to revive her career, practicing vocals, signing performance deals. But racism dogged her. A promoter once told her bluntly, "You're a star, but not bright enough for Hollywood." Depression and loneliness choked her, a fog blocking every escape. She stood at her window, gazing at city lights, seeing only her faint reflection. A friend said she once dropped a silver bracelet, a relic of her glory days, and didn't pick it up, as if letting go of her past, with even her daughter gone. What tethered Dorothy to this world? Chapter 6, the final note, dying alone, just a green scarf, an empty pill bottle, and a bathroom light still burning. On September 8th, 1965, Earl Mills pounded on her West Hollywood apartment door, worried when Dorothy didn't answer his calls. He broke in and found her on the bathroom floor, eyes closed forever, a star extinguished in darkness. At first, they said a blood clot from a broken foot killed her. Then, an overdose of tofranil, her antidepressant, but no one asked why was she alone. A folded note on the table, in trembling handwriting, read, "Cremate me immediately, give my assets to my mother." Geraldine Branton, her closest friend, recalled Dorothy whispering, "I'm tired, Jerry. Don't be shocked if something happens." Her lonely death sparked questions. A week earlier, she told a friend, "If Dennison shows up, don't let him in. No one knows if he did." Some families said Dorothy's eyes betrayed fear when she mentioned Jack, her ex-husband who once made her tremble. A neighbor recalled the night before her death, her apartment lights flickering oddly, as if someone was there. Racism crushed her dreams. Depression devoured her soul. But did a hand push her into eternal darkness she'd been trying to rebuild? Performing in Albuquerque, preparing for Basin Street East. Yet in that cold apartment, Only liquor and pills kept her company. A friend said she once stared at the ceiling, whispering, "If I go, remember I tried." Her final note, like a whisper from the grave, chilled those who read it. Did she foresee her fate? Or did someone want her silenced? Depression and loneliness consumed her, but the bathroom's lingering light left a question mark. She'd told Geraldine, "I'm tired." Was it a goodbye or a warning left hanging? Conclusion and enduring legacy light beyond loneliness? Dorothy Dandridge died alone, with only a green scarf and an empty pill bottle beside her, but her light never faded. Racism restrained her, depression consumed her, and her lonely death left haunting mysteries. Her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame endures, but no one heard her cries that night. She paved the way for black actresses like Halle Berry, who, in 2001, tearfully dedicated her Oscar to Dorothy, Lena Horne, and Diahann Carroll. The 1999 film introducing Dorothy Dandridge, starring Halle Berry, revived her story, winning an Emmy and a Golden Globe. Janelle Monáe's 2013 song Dorothy Dandridge Eyes was a tribute, and Camille Washington in Hollywood 2020 echoed her legacy. Dorothy fought prejudice, but Hollywood never gave her Marilyn's chances. "If I were white, I could have conquered the world," she told a friend bitterly. Racism stole her opportunities, depression her spirit, and her lonely death her life, her final note, her whispers to Geraldine. And the shadow of Jack Dennison left questions: did she choose to leave? Or was she silenced? A friend recalled her gazing at the night sky, whispering, "I just want to be free." But in that world, freedom was the ultimate luxury. She was a warrior, breaking barriers, standing tall when the world demanded she bow. A colleague said at her final Albuquerque show, she smiled, but her eyes looked through the crowd, as if seeing her fate. Dorothy's legacy is an unquenchable flame, inspiring millions. She wasn't just a victim of racism and depression, but a symbol of resilience, though the cost was steep. If she'd lived, could Hollywood have changed? Or would it still be a place where women like her vanish silently? Dorothy once looked skyward and said, "I just want to be free." But in that world, freedom was the ultimate luxury. If she'd lived, could Hollywood have changed, or would it still be a place where women like her vanish silently?